I met Jerry at a party, just out of the blue. I didn't think he was the coolest guy in the world or anything. He had no family in the area, so he's kind of struggling, didn't have any money or a place to stay or anything. And me being completely drunk, just offered this total stranger a place to stay and clothes and food and musical instruments, and the next, I think 2 days later, he moved his stuff up into the rehearsal room that I was working to, and he got himself a little 4-track and kind of started out there writing and jamming with some people. He was playing with some guys that I thought weren't up to par with the music he was writing. And I remember meeting Mike and Sean, prior to that. Mike Starr, by the way, was wearing a bathrobe, cowboy boots, and a cowboy hat on a Honda motorcycle. So I just, I don't know why, but those two guys popped into mind. It was about 2 years later when the whole thing with Jerry was happening. And, I remember that they were really cocky and overly confident, and I said, why don't you give these guys a try, It clicked right away, and so we kind of did a trade-off thing. Jerry played guitar in my band, and I sang for his band. And after a while, that wasn't working. The guys wanted a commitment, so they auditioned singers, and that pissed me off. So I quit my band and joined this one. It comes super easy, but it doesn't come easily if I sit down and try and write. But if I go to the studio when the music's done and I just have the producers set up a microphone in the engineering room and set up an open track and show me what buttons to push to record, I go in, I go in the engineering room myself, going alone, and just kind of toy around with the song for a few minutes and figure out a melody line. And once I figured that out, I just pick something out of my head, the first thing that pops in, and then I write a verse and a chorus, and I'll record those and have the band come in and listen to them. If they like the direction I'm going, then I do the rest of it. That kind of experience was the most nerve-wracking, scariest experience in my life. We decided to do a show, Barrett and Mike and Baker and myself, and Mike came over to my house, and I was in bed, and he came in and woke me up and said, "You want to play a show in 3 days with these guys?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. When are we going to practice?" And he said, "Well, we'll practice the night before." So we went down and we came up with 2 or 3 songs, which the next day nobody remembered a riff or a lyric or anything. So what we did is we got on stage and they played music. They made up music and threw these riffs together, and they all stared at me and waited for something to come flying out of my mouth. And in front of all those people, it was, I wasn't sure if I was going to run as fast as I could off the stage and out the door, or if I was going to stand there and try and do it. And I stayed there and I spit something out that fit with the music. And so we played like 4 Sundays in a row, and each time we played, we played a couple more songs, and pretty soon we had enough music to do a record. I was more satisfied with the Mad Season record than any other recordings I'd done. I wasn't burned out on any of the songs, so that's the way we kind of chose to do the Alice record. We've matured a lot musically and as people. Back then we were kind of like a gang, all for one and one for all, and one for the group. And we were still kind of searching around for what our niche was. We had a good idea, but it wasn't really set in stone yet. And I think now, with this record, it was basically, there wasn't really much worry as far as can we make a good record. There was more worry as far as, with all that we've been through personally and business-wise and press-wise, can we make a record that we're happy with? And we went in with that attitude, and I think we had fun every day that we jammed and recorded. It really brought us closer together as people and friends again. I know that the guys in this band would do anything for me, and I'd do the same for them. I know that I can trust them, and I think now they know that they can trust me. We've laid everything on the table, and no matter what we're doing, no matter what is accepted, between the four of us, we just kind of decided that, we've all grown into our individual lives, and sometimes things we do don't agree with the other's individual life, but what we do now is we leave that at home and we accept it and concentrate on working. Interviews just kind of got stupid. It was like, instead of finding out something new about the band that the last journalist didn't find out, it was more like, how can I reword what the last guy wrote so it sounds like an even harsher attack, but it's written more eloquently. Everyone I was getting interviewed by, and the other guys that were searching for a snazzy way to write an insult, and disguise it. And I was just tired of it. Nobody wanted to know about the music. They wanted to know, are you getting fucked up? Are you gay? Are you dying of AIDS? I'm usually the last to hear that I'm dying of AIDS or whatever it is.